got to prepare them. You use your fork to hold your taco shell.
When I tell you the internet has taught me more valuable information than college ever did, come here, when I literally have a degree. And I don't remember almost anything of what my college courses taught me, but I do remember this taco trick because I tried it. I was at the house, I set the taco shell up on the fork, and everybody looked at me as if I was a rocket scientist. They were listening to every single word I was saying. One of my family members has a PhD, and he was like, how did you figure that out? You get what I'm saying? Like, true genius can be found anywhere at this point. Oh goodness, don't eat that, right? There's water in there. Come here. The reason why mayonnaise is how it is because when you make mayonnaise, there's a thing called emulsifying. That's where you take two ingredients and then you mix them rapidly at the same time so it creates one form. Now, the reason why mayonnaise would do that, separate, is for a few reasons. One, it's either too much oil in there, it's frozen, it's too hot, or it's expired. Now, fun fact, if it's in a room temperature store like that and it's separated, I promise you, come here, it's probably expired. So please don't eat expired mayonnaise because there's in fact egg in there. It's not going to be a fun time for the bathroom.
It's a mistake you learned the hard way that you can now help people to avoid.
Your best friend and significant other should never be friends. Come here. And normally 9 times out of 10, best friends and significant others normally don't like each other much anyway, due to the best friend being overprotective and the significant other being jealous. So it's normally that's the case. But the off chance they do end up wanting to be friends with each other, come here. That should not happen. You get what I'm saying? There is no worse feeling of betrayal than when you are in an argument between the three of you and your best friend sides with your significant other. At that point, you're like, what is going on here?
I just found out that men don't know what crying horizontally means.
One of the funny thing, come here, a lot of guys don't know what crying is. Just in general, a lot of guys don't know how to cry or process their emotions, let alone different versions of crying, right? The closest thing that'll happen is that if something really sad happens to a guy, they'll say one sentence. And that sentence is, it's all good. They don't say, I'm all good. They don't say, we're all good. They say, it's all good. If a guy says, it's all good, that is translation for, I'm very sad and I have a lot of unprocessed emotion. Now, what horizontal crying means, luckily I found that out. It took a lot of research. Horizontal crying is where you cry looking at the ground so that the tears don't go down the face and smear the makeup. That is the legal definition.
Advice for women. Don't marry a man unless you'd be proud to have a son exactly like him.
You know, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought the advice was just don't marry men. And I was like, hey, solid advice. Okay, I get it. You know what I mean? But apparently finishing that sentence now, it makes more sense in regards to the conversation that I had at Walmart. I was talking to a worker at Walmart and I was explaining to him how I put on my shoes. I put my shoes on one sock and then a shoe, and then I'll put the other sock on and then the shoe. I don't have my socks on and then put my shoes on. I do them one at a time. And then I didn't know people don't put their shoes on that way. Apparently people put their shoes on where they put both socks on first and then both shoes. I didn't know that. And when I told the Walmart worker how I put my shoes on, his response was, yeah, you should probably never be a parent. And I said, I beg your pardon? And he's like, I don't think it'd be beneficial to raise anybody to put their shoes on that way. Ever since then, that's been in my brain. So
Trying crumble cookies for the first time.
So my friends warned me to never try crumble cookie. But I was like, how can you mess up a cookie? So I went to Crumble Cookie to try it out for the first time. I get there, I buy one cookie. Mind you, a cookie is like $10 over there. I have no idea why. I get the cookie. I wanted to eat it there in the store. They looked very worried that I was going to eat it in front of them. I take a bite, and the middle of the cookie was like wet. It was like moist. You know what I'm saying? Not like savory. It was like literally wet, as if it was just all cookie dough. And I'm like, hey, did you not cook this cookie all the way through? And the person at the front said, you don't like your cookies medium rare? Come here. Did you just reference cookies like meat? I said, no, I want my cookie cooked all the way through. And then they said, well, if it's cooked all the way through, it won't get the same flavor. Get closer to me right now. The flavor stays in the cookie. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, this is for a health thing. Please cook your cookies all the way through. I never went back.
If you could have any superpower, what superpower would you get? And nobody says teleportation.
You want to know what's funny? This was an actual assignment that I had in college. It was for statistics, right? I needed to ask a general broad question to a wide variety of people in different age ranges to see if there was any consistencies. The general question was, what superpower would you want if you had a choice? Now, people who were younger answered the question as if they were going to be a superhero. So a lot of the answers were like invisibility or flying. As you get to the older age ranges, the answers normally reflect the issues that they're currently having. For example, people say teleportation so they wouldn't be late to work. A lot of people say super healing so that they can eat dairy products and not have to worry about it later. A lot of people said time travel so that they can stop themselves from getting married. Come here. That's when I realized there was something deeper going on.
January, February, March, April, May, June. Like, I see it from top to bottom.
Okay, so that is interesting. I didn't know that there are different ways that people envisioned the months out of the year, right? For example, there's some people who envision their months vertically, going up to down. So for example, right, January, February, March, April, May, June, just going in a straight line. Then there's people who envision their days of the month, right, in a line, going from left to right or right to left. Then there's some other people who envision their days of the month marginally. So they'll see it as like sections like this. I always saw my months in an S shape. So I always saw it like this, if that makes sense, right? So I would always see my months like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September in an S. Come here. Now that I know that, this answers a lot of questions for me as to why people were so confused when I would write out the days of the year.
Disappears after he was accidentally paid 300 times.
I don't think you understand how much money that actually is. 300 times somebody's salary, right? You want to know what the best magic trick is? Seeing how fast an employee disappears out of thin air, right? When you accidentally give him millions and millions of dollars, right? By the time you actually realize you made that mistake and call the store to talk to that employee, they're gone already, right? Hey, where's Brad? Brad left the country, right? He just changed numbers. And if you're a good coworker, you didn't see a thing. You know what I'm saying?
I spent the day with my ex-boyfriend and then came home and my husband made the most amazing steak.
See, and the thing is, right, come here. It took me 2.5 legal hours to figure out what the joke was in the video. At first, I watched the video and I said, okay, well, she hung out with her ex and now she's with her husband. I guess that's what the video is. And my parents are like, Jordan, do you not understand what the joke is? And I said, Mom, there's nothing to joke about when it comes towards monogamy. I just, you know what I mean? I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think it's too okay to hang out with an ex. And my mom's like, no, Jordan, there's a joke in the video. I said, what do you mean? She says, when you propose to somebody, what happens? I said, oh, you get engaged and now you are their fiance. And she's like, so you're no longer a boyfriend. I'm like, no, I'd be a fiance. And I'm like, oh, the ex and the husband are the same person. It's been a long night. So I was like in love with this chair. I'm like, this is such a cool chair. I think I want it. So I looked it up to see how much the chair was. Come here, get so close. I really need you to hear me. Back up a little bit. The chair was $3,000. It was $3,000, right? Shipping and handling not included. And I was like, okay, well, maybe not. Maybe I can't really afford that chair. So I wanted to look and see what other things they had. They had a regular lawn chair. It looked almost identical to this chair. Mind you, I got this chair for free when I bought 2 tacos. So the lawn chair that was on their website was $300. I said, does this chair cure all illnesses and stop aging? Why is it $300? And I was told it's because it's fashionable. Come here. I would rather just not have any fashion sense if that means I can keep my money.